All right.
Yay, we're here.
Better late than never, right?
I guess, yeah.
It's like I had to do a do-over this morning.
Did you go over your checklist?
I got gas. I'm running in administrator mode, and we have a sound check. We have a positive sound check.
Yes, we do.
We are good to go. We are ready for launch. Ready for lunch. Lunch. What's
Lunch or lunch?
lunch?
Lunch.
Ready for lunch.
We're gonna have ribs.
I like ribs. You know what the key to making good ribs are? You gotta tickle them before you put them in the oven.
Don't play with your food. You know you like to.
Actually, I
Look
never.
at this video.
What? Why? Don't touch my soundboard. You'll blow up my headphones.
He reaches over, he grabs her water bottle and tightens the lid and sets it down. Look how much he had to stretch. He's got water over here. I think he was worried that she might throw water at him or something. People are like, he just tightened it he's a brat.
He is a brat. It's fucking hilarious, man. Can't handle him.
It's hilarious. There we are.
It's morning again, right?
Yeah.
It keeps.
Keeps coming.
Whoa.
What? What?
Yeah, it keeps doing that.
Yes.
Coming every day. I go to bed. It feels good. It feels nice. I float away. And then in the morning, I arise.
It's morning again.
That's why we need the renewing of our minds. Whatever mind we have. Man, I'm slumming it, man. I'm in the Roach Hotel. Down to smoking de buenos roches. Is the best part. It's all resonated from the whole previous joint, you see. It's so good.
It is.
It's good. I'm glad you thought to check to see if we were online, man. I thought,
Well, I get in the chat and I couldn't find it.
yeah, like, wow.
Like, what happened? Dun, 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 dun.
Bow. 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 So I can't chat with X. I can only chat with YouTube through this Restream chat. It's just so weird lately. Good morning, boys and girls. It's
morning.
Tim and Jen. That's
Good
right.
morning.
True Slinger and the hippie chick
Morning.
over there.
Let's wear
Next.
my tie-dye.
Oh, wait. We got sunshine on your face. We can't have
Get
that. No, that's not good, right? We got to move Sunny right here. Flip Sunny around. There you go. Put Sunny down here. Yeah, Sunny's good down here. Point at you. There you go.
Where are all the pictures?
And let's flip
upload.
Mr. Coffee around. He can be over here. Point at me. See, look at that. Beautiful format changes every single day. Good morning, Jeffy Pooh. How are you? We're doing just fine as frog hair. I believe my saturation level is a little high today. I feel saturated. Don't you? I hate that when I get up in the morning and I feel too saturated. Let's just turn that saturation down a little bit. Oh, there you go. Holy crap. I was on fire. All right, let me see. I guess the hue's okay. Turn that off. Turn that. Whoa, oh my God. Where are we? Who turned the lights out? Holy shit. There we go.
What are you
All right,
doing?
we're back. We're back. We're back. I don't like the auto exposure on
Yeah.
because the auto exposure
Exposes you.
I don't want to be exposed.
I don't
Trust
want
me,
you
you
to
don't
be
want me.
exposed.
You do not want me to be exposed, right? Now I feel a little desaturated, undersaturated. There, that's about right.
I need coffee. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I don't know what you need. You need at least some coffee. At least that. So yeah.
So I put the cabin up for sale
Yeah.
on Facebook just to kind of see.
Just to sort of start playing around with it.
Yep, without
Yeah.
a realtor.
Yeah, very cool. Good morning, Waz.
Hey, Waz. Hey, Jeff.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Anything's better than being constipated or being in jail. Wow, being in jail is terrible. Yep. I just put my shirt in the laundry and it smelled like the shirt when I was in jail for 2 days. That tells you that I've been a bit stressed. But I feel better this morning.
Yeah.
I feel kind of like a zit popped.
because I put the house up for sale.
Because she put the house up for sale, right? See, okay, so like when you go to sell a house, right? There's like a million unknowns, right? I mean, this is so like, how are you gonna do it? Are you gonna
and
do
we're
it
off-grid, so it's
right, so
weird.
we're off grid, so it's weird. It's different, you know how you want to do it. But
We're on a
today,
logging road.
there's so many more options, and like there's stuff like, well, I don't know, Facebook
right.
Marketplace,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
So
so
she
I
puts
just went
this-
into some groups.
Yeah, so she went into some groups and she posted it with like one picture and with a big old like no Nick Riquet stuff. No. No. Daddy's well beyond that right now. I'm feeling good,
3 days
man.
away
Feeling
from that.
fine. Yeah. We're out. We're out enough away from it. I think we're off the island. I think we
You think?
almost
We
can't.
called it the island.
The island.
when
Yes.
we
Yeah, and so
that.
we don't. I don't think we see that last island anymore. So we're probably pretty much on the high seas right now. So,
Yep.
which is good and bad and all that kind of stuff, but mostly good. And being sharp is okay. But you can't be in a state of running away from stuff. When you're sober, doesn't work very well. So anyway, she listed this thing. And like one picture or something at a like really high price tag, which if we drop off on it, we'll still be kind of pretty happy with what we get, So of course you always start a little bit high. And in today's environment, considering the fact that the world is melting, I'm just kind of guessing that right now people want to get the hell out of Dodge. There's a whole lot of
Right.
people want to get out of the city to move into the boonies.
Yep.
And so I'm kind of marketing this thing as the preppers, off-grid paradise, which it is. It's just
Bug out.
currently very overgrown, and there's a little bit of trash laying around. And I mean, I got some stuff like washers and dryers that I dumped on me. I mean, we went through 3
Oh my
washers trying to buy used washers because I didn't want to buy a new one, and they like all
Every
failed
single
on
one.
us in a minute, And so it's like, shit. So I got crap laying around. It's just going to take a couple of days to get down to the dump and this kind of stuff. And so it's not perfect. But guess what? Over the years, we've had it really nice at times, and we've taken lots of pictures over the years.
Yep.
So she posted all the pictures of when it was really, really nice, right? So now we can actually get people going, oh, hey, this is really something I want to do. I'm interested in it. I'm serious about it.
Right.
And at that point, if they come here, right, we can clean this stuff up. But what they're going to be doing is looking for how they're going to live in it. And they want confirmation that the bones is good, right? That's the way I'm looking at it. That's the way I figure. So, so I'm kind of stoked because there's how many people?
Probably 20 people that have written me since last night.
20 people already have written us, and
Now,
this
there's a couple that I've been talking to. More.
one guy wants to jump
in
on a plane
Pennsylvania.
and get on a plane this weekend.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, wait.
But I'm feeling pretty good about that, right?
Yeah, I mean, the basics are that it's 900 square feet, it's off-grid, and it's 23 acres in the middle of the woods.
Right. And I'm asking $235,000 for it.
Right.
Okay, with
And
26 acres.
No one said
No one
anything
blinked,
about it,
and we
so
got that
that's good.
20 people talking to us about it. I'm like, should have started at 250, man.
No. But I mean, who knows?
No, but I mean, we're and I think that I'm interested in a quick sale, and so I'm not going to go back and look at it and say, I mean, now look, at this price point, if God wants us to get more money out of it, we'll get more money out of it because
Well,
two
yeah, there'll
people
be
will
two
come
people.
here,
Right.
and two people will start a bidding war,
Right.
right? So it could happen. It could happen. So that's all exciting stuff, right? So today I'm feeling a little more glass half full.
That's good.
Yeah. Like now, okay, we got pictures out there. Well, what pictures do I lack? Okay, we'll start cleaning those rooms or organizing those rooms first.
Right.
Like the closet in the bathroom back there. I don't have a picture of it. And probably it would be a good idea the second I can get out to Newport is to get another piece of plywood and put this sink in.
Yeah.
Get this sink put in. And because that would complete the bathroom. But I don't think at this point, I don't think
need a
that's,
sink.
I don't think this is going to be the thing. I don't think this is going to be the thing that is the difference between selling it and not selling it. When they get here, I'll pull the sink out of open the box and say, see this sink? This is what's going to go right here in the corner. And as a matter of fact, if you want to, I'll put it in for you before we leave. No big deal.
Right.
This should be part of the deal, right? And maybe we can even throw the tractor in with this damn thing.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
Although it'd be good to get some cash before.
It would be, So anyway, things to consider. But like I said, I'm feeling better about things. And that's good because I don't like not feeling good. It sucks.
We have no car. Well, we have a car, but it's at the dealership. What was that?
A white T-shirt. It was on a black stove with all sorts of black stuff in the background, and it looked like a white blob floating out there to the
Floating?
right of your head. Yeah.
That's bizarre.
So I thought I could probably just take that laundry and put it. Actually, it's a rag now, which is why it was on
Oh my God.
the stove. So anyway, so what's going on in the news? We're weird. We're all weird.
Weird.
We're weird.
It's like, is that the best you've got? We're weird. I'll take it.
Well,
I mean,
I think that what happened is finally they hit the brakes with this dangerous rhetoric about dangerous to democracy. I think they cooled their jets.
yeah.
And I think literally what they did was they were on full thruster mode. And I think literally they just shut the engines off.
Right.
I mean, weird? What the hell is weird? We went from being evil Nazi,
Hitler.
authoritarian, fascist, brown shirts,
Weird.
okay,
Which is weird.
to just a little weird.
It's a kinder, gentler Kamala.
It's like, wow.
Weird is a compliment. Yes, it is, was.
And absolutely, man, we're supposed to be weird.
Peculiar people.
Peculiar. And when the kind of shit that we saw going on at the oh my God, I got some stuff to show you at the Kamala Harris rally. Two things that happened yesterday that are noteworthy was going to the black journalists, man, the National American Association of Black Journalists, NABJA.
Nabja.
The NABJA. And I think that's what it's called. And well, shit, what the hell else? Kamala had a rally with, what's her name? Mustang Bango.
Oh, Megan the Stallion.
Megan the Stallion.
The Stallion.
The Stallion.
Thee, get it right.
The Stallion. Right. So doesn't
does
a
that mean
stallion
she's
usually
gay?
have a big dick?
Well, that's what I was.
The Italian
I was
stallion.
just saying it with more tact than you.
Oh, fuck tact. This is no place for tact right now.
It's still morning.
Not after I show you what you're gonna see. Okay. Oh yeah. Women's news. I don't know if you didn't bookmark them, but a couple of interesting Olympic news things. Okay.
I did.
The swimmers jumped into the Seine River.
Oh God.
Apparently
I feel so bad.
swam about 10 meters and all swam to the edge of the river.
It's in bookmark.
Got
Hold
up.
on.
Okay. Let's just do this. Let's just do this. And spent the next, I don't know how long. Oh, what happened now? Look, I had it all set up before, and now it's not set up because we
Oh my
started it all over.
God.
No, you know what that is, right? That's because I started streaming at 5 till until I looked up, and then she says, we're not streaming. And I said, of course we're streaming. And I look up and it says start streaming. And so I start mashing the button.
wrong.
And no matter how many times I mashed it, because
You
it's a
were
fucking
wrong.
computer, it wouldn't. I wasn't wrong. You take that back.
I'm doing
All
the
right.
Trump.
Okay,
Wrong.
so wrong.
Okay, so go to bookmarks.
Go to the bookmarks. Okay.
Okay, now scroll down. Scroll down.
All right. Yes.
No, scroll down.
All right, hold on. I just want to make sure we. Okay, scroll down.
One more.
Oh,
there.
okay.
That's it.
Yeah. All right.
Do that one, then the next one.
All right. So yeah, they all went to go swimming in the Seine. You know,
They were
to
told
go.
they had to.
They've
They're
been
at the Olympics.
they've been training, and what the hell is this? There's just way too much ass cheek sticking out of this ass right here. It doesn't even look good at like all. But anyway, so yeah, they've been training for years for this, right? This is their big moment. Here we go. Ready?
On your mark.
A few moments later.
All right, there's
Okay,
another
now here's actually what really happened, okay? It's
graphic.
graphic, warning. Yeah,
Polluted. The river's
the
polluted.
water is so polluted, man, that it made everybody sick. Okay? I just don't know how much more embarrassing it can get for France right now. Can you?
No, God is good. That's what I gotta say.
But they deserve this. They have this big, like, power outage, right?
Yep.
Yeah, tell them about that. And if they haven't heard about the power outage they had the other night in the church
What power outage?
in Paris, France.
Oh yeah, there was a power outage, and there was everything was black, just completely black, except one church was lit up
On the hill.
on the hill. Church on a hill, shining city on a hill.
Yeah, you can't make this shit up, man. It's like God's trying to get people's attention, right? It's like, yeah, there you go. And then there's there's more Olympic news, by the way. Oh yes.
Here, I re-bookmarked it. Hit refresh. That's not a video.
Which one isn't? This top one? I want the boxing video.
Yeah, hit refresh. Okay, it's there on the right.
There it is. Let's watch this. Now this
Women's
is
boxing?
this is
that what this is?
women's boxing, and there is you know, I heard that they were just going to have, for selected sports, allow certain trans people into
the building.
into the Olympics and allow them to fight biological females in certain sports. So I thought to myself, surely it isn't going to be boxing. where they're hitting each other or trying to hit each other in the face.
The head.
The head region, where the brain cavity is right there. But yeah. So this is a new age female fighting a trad female. How's that? And let's see how it goes. Okay. Okay, I'm done. I'm done getting punched in the face.
I've trained my whole life for the Olympics, and that's it.
Yeah, it's over. That's it. I'm just done. I don't like to get hit in the face anymore. That's it. Look, bang. Oh, yeah. Okay, I quit. I mean, look at this other. What looks feminine about this person on the left here? Just look at the. Was that the lats or whatever? The deltoids. Look at this shit, man. Okay, this is a washed out male boxer, okay, that decided they wanted their 15 minutes of fucking fame, okay? I mean, there's no breasts. The guy doesn't have any breasts. There's males competing with females, man. Yeah, she didn't want to get rung or bell into the, she didn't want to die. I mean, you get punched in the face. This stuff is deadly serious, right? It really is. So let me show you another couple of interesting news things before we go on to the meat of our day.
Oh.
Which was the Donald Trump
baby back ribs.
interview. No.
We're on carnivore diet. Just
will you stop already?
What?
Can we just get through
said
the whole show without talking about what we're going to eat today? It's
fine,
worse when we
whatever.
quit smoking and drinking and everything. It's like there's only one oral
One source
thing
of pleasure.
left to do, and that's eat. Kind of tend to focus and fixate a little bit on eating. I do too. But we don't have much in the house. We just have like meat and stuff. All right, so let me share a couple of things with you because I think they were underappreciated, right? I do.
Okay.
I don't think enough people saw them.
Okay.
And there's snippets from. I made a couple of shorts yesterday. Made a couple of shorts, and all right, tell me what you think of that meme. Jennifer posted that one this morning.
I like that one.
I know it's
corny.
really corny, but it's good. It's good. I like it. Okay. All right. Which one would you like to see first? Would you like to see this one? What's the other one? I had two of them. Where's the other one?
To what?
2 posts, 2 shorts. And now I only see one. Okay, let's just play this one. This is the acting Secret Service director. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. I need to bookmark this stuff and pin this stuff or whatever. I had a post about Megan the
Oh yeah. Yeah, you.
Stallion. I did a post about it.
Yep.
We'll figure out how to share it some way. But let's watch this one first. This is Amy Globular.
You're so mean.
I know. She's like she should be a PTA in the PTA somewhere. Anyway. But she asks a pretty good question. And I want you to understand what the second in command, which is now the acting Secret Service director, said was the basic problem. So check this out. I want to show you a startling clip from the acting Secret Service director of the United States of America that is currently still responsible right now for taking care of our president and our former president. Watch this.
Could you just give a minute on what went wrong and how you think it can be fixed? Could you just tell them what went wrong so they understand?
No, thank you, Senator. I've thought long and hard about this. I think this was a failure of imagination, a failure to imagine that we actually do live in a very dangerous world where people do actually want to do harm to our protectees.
What? Did he just say that the Secret Service of the United States of America failed to imagine that we live in a dangerous world where people, bad people, might want to do bad things to our protectees? Who is this guy? Why does he still have a job either after that answer? Why isn't everybody losing their minds over that answer? Our Secret Service doesn't wake up every day and go, now, gentlemen, remember, this is a scary, dangerous world, and there are people out there that want to hurt the people we protect. Fools. All of our organizations, bureaucracies, they're all run by fools.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I just almost fell over. I'm like, and I'm still astounded.
Yeah.
I got 465 impressions, and 8 forwards and 1 comment, and I'm like going, that right there was one of the scariest things I've ever heard. That's like when the plane was crashed, and two planes crashed together, and the guy who's in charge of the radio control tower and the air traffic controller said, what I think we have a problem here is a failure of imagination. To imagine that 2 planes could be on a collision course to each other. We just never really thought about that. Right? I mean, it is ludicrous at its most basic level. It's absolutely ridiculous. So where the hell is my other one? Oh, I know why. It's down further. I reposted that. Okay. Now I want to watch you. I want to watch you to watch. This was the Kamala Harris rally. Now about 1,500 people left this rally as soon as whatever this is got done playing. Oh, shit. Now this is the 3rd time I had to watch this. Now 4th. I just had to do it. Just check this out. This is what Kamala Harris brought on right before she talked. Check this out.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Body crazy, curvy waist. Body crazy, curvy waist. Look at how I body that. Ate it up and gave it back. Yeah, you look good, but they still wanna know. See me in that dress and he felt like he almost tasted that. Num 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 num, eat it up. Hope they okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest, you ain't never got it. I'm present when I'm. What we talking about over here, y'all? Hey, if you love your body, let me hear you make some noise. And if you want to keep loving your body, ladies, let me hear you make some noise. Hey, body crazy, curvy weight. Yeah, yeah. Body crazy, curvy weight. Yeah, yeah.
Crazy curvy, baby.
They gon' click it if it's me. All my pictures been getting these through the quarantine. I'm very well, come on, as you can tell. Got beef from years ago, it's beefing by herself.
So animalistic, I love it. Guttural almost.
Don't repeat that. Rule number 2, if they all came with you. Make some noise, hey now. Whoa, whoa. Hey, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so inspired. I'm going to rush out and vote for Kamala Harris right away. And so should you. God, that was so great. Go Harris. That shit is crazy, man. I just like, is this what it means to be black? Is this black culture? Is this, well, obviously this is part of the black culture that they want to lift to the surface, and they want this to thrive over. I mean, like, where's Thomas Sowell?
Right.
You know, Where are people that are serious black people coming up to no. We want to lift up this porno. I mean, it's just junk. It's garbage. The production value sucked. Okay? And that's insulting. That should be insulting to black people. I don't
Oh, there are
get
black
it.
people that are insulted by it. Like, really?
Yeah, right? And
You
so
gotta come out and start twerking.
And so Kamala, la 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 la. Is this the whole 40 minutes too? No, that's just a little piece of it. We're gonna watch Donald Trump
It's under
handle
bookmarks. Go ahead.
handle, okay, a nasty woman, right? 2 nasty women, actually. Is that the whole thing?
The 30 minutes.
34 minutes. Okay. All right. Now let me set this up for you. Okay. Which you'll Donald Trump's going to tell you about it pretty much too. But he goes to see the National Association of Black Journalists, and apparently it was supposed to be him and Kamala. His understanding was, and she didn't show. And they never Zoom with people.
Right.
It's always got to be in person. They have high standards. They're kind of like Tim Pool. They only do in real life, right? In real time, whatever they IRL, yeah, in real life. So so they're breaking their rules for Kamala, right? And let me move this. We don't want to see the vomiting people on the screen anymore. I can make this bigger too. So that's the setup, right? He's going right into the lion's den, guys. These are black journalists, right? And we're going to see Donald Trump take care of business because this lady was not very nice to him. So let's just watch together.
Using the hashtag NABJFactCheck. Again, the hashtag is NABJFactCheck. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time, so let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican.
Now, I got to admit, understanding that fact check must be them going, yeah, if you hear him say any inaccuracies, you just write in here.
Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
I can't tell you the stones it takes to walk into this place.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Okay. What did you think of that question?
That was quite the question.
Huh? Now, first of all, you notice right in the beginning, she says, thank you that you're going to be here for a whole hour. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Just take note of that. I don't want to steal the thunder here. But notice how she came in pretty hot? Yeah. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
And,
totally.
said things like, you've said people's questions, black journalists' question was stupid and racist. Yeah, he's probably said that about a white journalist, too. I mean, he tells people that their questions are stupid all the time, right?
Yep.
Excuse me. So, yeah, let's watch this master class. This is a master class.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is. Watch.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and
Now you'll notice that what he did was he came in, okay, called her nasty for how she opened it, which just kicked the credibility right out from underneath her, right?
Right.
And so he's not going to play this game and play by their rules. And these people always come in thinking that he's dumb and that because they tell everybody he's a bumbling fool. And these people are egotistical enough to think, I'm going to be the journalist that's going to trap Donald Trump. Just like all the Pharisees and Sadducees, I'm going to be the one to trap Jesus Christ. Okay? It's just not going to happen. God has his hand on this president. And this president is nothing like you have ever dealt with before. But they don't learn. They don't learn.
I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working, or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love if you can answer the question on your rhetoric.
Right? You see this? You see this? He comes in flipping the fucking tables. Okay? You motherfuckers are late. You were late. Okay? I'm an important person. I am more important than you, as a matter of fact. My time is valuable, but I understand your time is valuable. I wouldn't stand you up like that. You were 35 minutes late, okay? And I got stuff to do, okay? I'm a busy person. And so, yeah, he completely turns it around and said, why are you nasty? Attacks the premise of the question and says you're coming in, and instead of, and not only that, I mean, let's back up for a second. There was an assassination attempt. There was not even one iota of attempt to say, how are you? How are you feeling after that? Must have been a most terrifying moment. No attempt whatsoever to humanize him. No, she came in like a fucking hyena.
Yep.
Okay? And that's the way he treats a bitch, man. He takes a 2x4 and he hits her in the head, because that's what hyenas need, right? A hit in the damn head.
And why you
I have
believe that
answered
black
the
voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the
answer.
Voting Rights
And
Act.
for you to
Now, there are people cheering, and there are some people that may be yelling and jeering, but there are people in there, I guarantee you, that I'm sure are cheering.
start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner. I think it's a disgrace. I really do.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here.
Absolutely love it, right? He attacked with their credibility, right? I just absolutely love it.
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you?
Okay, here we go. Now, this is interesting. He tries the tactic of turning it around and getting her to define DEI, which doesn't go anywhere.
No.
Because she just goes, well, and she said what the words mean.
Right.
The acronym means. But then he goes into some territory here And I'm just going to ask your opinion about what you think about this, because we've watched some fallout from this answer. And I got people that are thinking that most of them are going, oh, man, that was a tactical mistake. I don't know why he went there. He didn't really need to go there. I think I don't have any problem with where he went, but you tell me what you think of this.
And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
Diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me
literally
a definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition of
Sir,
that.
I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage. And she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black. And now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black
I
woman. She went to a
respect either
historically black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but
Nobody would have the stones to do this but Donald J. Trump. And yes, that was total Jedi mind shit to tighten the water cap bottle on her fucking bottle so she couldn't take a drink. Holy crap, man.
Did you see? I mean, he like stretched way out there to get it.
Yeah. And it, crank that motherfucker. It's hilarious, man, because it really is funny that he just doesn't play by their rules.
Right.
He doesn't. He gets in there, and the first thing he does is he's a batter that just kicks at the box, and
Right.
kicks at it, and I'm going to stand where I want to. I'm going to hit this ball the way I want to.
He obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she went
black.
Became a black person.
Just to be clear,
Right, and so is that a stupid question? No, it's because it's pointing out the fact that it was expedient for her to be Indian for a while. Right? This is no different than 1124th Elizabeth Warren. This is no different than the NAACP bitch that was white that got a perm and said she identifies as black, and the next thing you know, she's head of the NAACP and nobody really knew she was white. Okay, this is crazy shit. This is crazy tunes. So one day she's Indian. Is it just highlighting the fact that just like everything else, she goes with whatever the wind is, right? It highlights the fact that, did you know that no longer is Kamala Harris for against fracking? No, she's for it. What she really meant to say was she's for fracking, lots of it.
Yeah.
Right? And the whole list of other extreme things that she said, flipped on them, just completely disavowed them. Just like her race, because it's more convenient to be black now, right? Man.
sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think
that she is
somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I really
Republicans
don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that
Well, you
interview.
told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion.
Well, Kamala's dad is a communist, full blown.
Marxist professor.
Yeah. So, but now notice what Trump did here. This was a total power move. Okay, you might have missed this, but Donald Trump says, "I'm done with this dumb bitch in the blue pantsuit over here that's doing nothing but like being a rabid dog that I've got by the scruff of the neck that's going trying to bite me." And he throws her to the trash pile and says, "No, I want to talk to Harris Faulkner, a little more friendly of an audience right now." And so he takes the power. He just yanks it right out of her hands. Like, "You're not running this interview, lady. I am." This is total power move.
Was of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't. Because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she went,
Yep,
she
he's right.
became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask, continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I really
Republicans
don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length, and we had a great interview. I
You
think
see
I heard
that?
you got very good ratings on that.
Well, you
That
told
was-
me it was the
that
longest
was
one
like-
of your life, so we
That
had
was
a good
like
discussion.
judo, man.
Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean,
got the friend.
it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we are divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
Okay, no. You know that as soon as she took the bait, she took the fucking bait. Why? Because he said a black job.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you say black job, does that mean that a white person can't be also doing it?
Right. You're talking about low income.
But where is he? But where is he right now? Who's his audience right now?
Right, the black worker.
Right. He said black jobs because he has a black audience. They're taking your jobs.
Right.
Okay? And she goes, black job, black job, black job. What's a black job? Right? She wants to go and trap him like she's going to get him to say, well, you know, like opening the door for me at Trump Tower.
Right.
Or something. What does she expect? What does she think she's going to pull off?
Right.
And of course, he's going to slough this off, man. He's gonna dodge it. You know, he's gonna do the Heisman. He's just gonna do the Heisman over
He's the
here. He's gonna put that
Teflon.
arm out.
Teflon Don.
Right, and he's just gonna go, look, fucking jobs, like a job, like jobs, okay, like a job for everybody, right? You know, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like, look, black people aren't the only people that clean toilets. Mexicans clean toilets. I mean, what the hell is she trying to get at? The point is that these people are coming in here, and you know what? Yeah, they're black. They're coming in here, but we don't know their intentions. They're not citizens. They shouldn't be here. They're taking up resources. Okay, that are for black people. They're taking up jobs for black people. They're competing directly with those people for manual labor jobs, right? And not everybody's a rocket scientist anyway, okay? Just because you're black, white doesn't matter. I mean, there are lots of people that are all colors that are lower income. I'm one of them, you know? So it's ridiculous. So anyway, she tries to trap him, but see this beautiful Heisman he does.
Black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is.
That's
Anybody
right.
that
Slip.
has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
they're
can I-
taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there.
Well, and you know what? And they're talking about the fact that, you know, this whole idea about black jobs. It's like they, with impunity, are allowed to say, black this, black that, black
Yeah,
this,
right.
black that.
Black
They
entertainment
can
television.
say nigger, Nick can say nigga. They can say everything, but we can't say it.
Are you jelly?
Right? Well, no, but it's the point is that you can't do that. You can't take that. You can't have that. You can't have it that way. you can't say I'm not allowed to say black jobs and say because we're talking about black people and go, oh, well, I mean, it's so ridiculously at this point openly, blatantly racist by the person who's using it because they're using it as a cudgel to trap you so that you can't talk about what needs to be talked about so that you can just keep people divided and separate. Because that's what this is all about. Those people up there are not fucking journalists. They're advocates with press credentials. Do you understand? They are activists with press credentials. The press left the building a long time ago. Well, I will. Okay, I will. I'll talk about black people, and I'll talk about there are black people that are foreign that come here that they don't have the same idea of the Constitution. There are black people here that are the N words. Okay, I'm not going to say it again just because somebody's going to try and trap me on it, but they are. They okay. But again, I've talked about this at nauseum. Okay, it's the behavior. It is the civilized nature of the behavior that I do not care for. It's not the culture that I don't care for. I care for the lack of civilization, and I'm not even saying refinement at this point. Okay, because that shit that we just watched was totally tasteless by the stallion. It's gross, man. There's like no culturally redeeming value for that, like whatsoever. But yeah, this stuff needs to be talked about. We need to talk about black on black crime. We need to talk about fatherless homes, people growing up, and how that makes for a propensity. But that's for white people too, right? That kind of environment that the Democrats want to keep people in, and all of these journalists that want to cover up for the Democratic Party are all complicit in keeping the black man on the new modern plantation. They are.
Mm-hmm. At once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs, and frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members,
crime
and
way
they're
down
bringing
there.
them into the United States.
All
And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
True.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts. And this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single black moms, when you look statistically.
Yeah.
How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so
And
I
it's
don't know if they
interesting, the
can
most
fix it or
friendly
do something
person
with it. But
is the
I'll
furthest
do the
away
best I can with it.
and can hear the worst.
The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people,
You're right,
young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying
credit
our
and
country.
credit cards
and it's-
are terrible. And we went without them for a long
Yep.
time. And then we got some in order to get this business going. We took some credit to get the computers and the equipment and all that kind of stuff. And then we took a little more because we had to take that trip, which we couldn't afford. So, and then, then you rack them up. And then you don't really want to pay more than the minimum because you don't want to reduce your cash supply. But yet floating the credit cards is costing you interest, which is bleeding you dry. So it's an awful, awful place to be. And many people have been forced now because of the economy to do that. And we were forced to do it, in a way. And it's not all the economy. Part of it is, and part of it is just life circumstances for us. But for a lot of other people, it's just not. Okay, they're physically able, but they can't, And let me tell you something else about this whole black thing. We could keep talking about it. It's like when I see black people act the way they act, when I see these giant rumbles in the mall, or even when I see Crump, that guy Crump, Ben Crump, and then I see these family members of these people that happen to get shot go up, and they can barely talk.
Right.
They're like almost retarded. Not because they're stupid, not because they're black, but because they were raised by someone who was not very bright, probably, and came from, it's a generational curse. I mean, they are cursed by, it's hard to break out of the cycle they're in, okay?
Yeah.
And so you want to talk about institutional racism, it's right here. It's called the Democratic Party. They're the ones that created the situation. And what happens is it just crushes me to see someone, because by the time you get to a certain age, language skills become so much harder to acquire. So if you try and fix this,
Right.
and you raise somebody to go, Mama Bo Mambo to the banana patch, when you need to go to the bathroom, and then they actually have to learn to say, excuse me, where's the restroom?
Right.
Okay, they're going to have a hell of a time because the way they form words and all this kind of stuff is set in. That's why when people that are adults learn another language, they have an accent, right? Well, they're always going to have an African American Ebonic accent if they're learning like how to do this when they're older. And so, so this problem needs to be and can be solved at a very young age. But instead of doing that, we're busy teaching them that they should be okay with touching each other's willies, right? Rather than educating them on how to speak and talk properly. And so I know that was a rabbit trail, but it's important of how to break this cycle because, we need to raise everyone up, right?
Destroying the black community probably as much or
So
more
what do you do?
than any
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls, and then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight, a prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing well. You say, let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign was steered toward him. And now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient efficient heating.
Mr. President.
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58. Whatever it may be, they don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
President, can I ask you another question?
Did you
that is
know,
also-
before we go on, did you know the inflation numbers do not include food,
No food.
food and
Fuel.
Right. What the hell do you
Which
do
is
on a
like
daily
around, what,
basis? Like
30%?
90% of your budget, food and fuel, or like, 50, 60%. Huge, right? Getting around, getting back and forth, going wherever you got to go, and eating. They're not counted in the inflation numbers. I don't know, man. Apparently, dryers are in there. Washers and dryers, or consumable good or consumer goods and shit like that. But that's not what we do on a daily basis. So when they do stuff like that, it's just nothing but trying to obscure the numbers so that you don't know what they are.
impacting black Americans.
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sadia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if
It's
you
a
win.
good question.
Why should
it's-
someone...
It is a very good question.
We watched the video of the woman with the boiling water getting shot.
I'm pretty sure they shouldn't have shot her in the face.
Yeah, right.
Pretty sure.
Yeah,
I mean, she called for help,
right.
and they called, and it seemed like when they walked in the room, they immediately had this fucking attitude. Like this.
Well, she went over to take the boiling water off the stove, and I think that she might have made a joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happened. He said something about, she said something about, I got something on. He said, well, you better turn it off. She went over there and she went to move it off the burner. And then she made a joke about something. Then it might have been in response to something he said.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he's like, and we don't know what that joke is. But he's like, you better not. I'll blow your face off. I mean, they whipped them guns out so fucking fast.
Right.
Like,
And so, yeah.
and then they hole punched her.
Right. And I don't know the answer. I mean, I've always been pro-police, and I always have felt that they deserve immunity because they're being put into positions where they have to make these decisions. But I'm starting to soften on that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm when you watch something like that, it's kind of hard
it's
to
like
go because
you could have used a less lethal, or, like a taser.
right. I mean, yeah, he didn't even attempt to use the taser; just perforated the lady. So anyway, he's in rough territory
And he could
here
have run away.
But you know what? I think it's good the way he answered it the best way he can is to say that it didn't look right to me, and
like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person
Okay,
either.
okay.
But
And
again, why would...
they're going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago...
So you said, Gray Will says someone released a full video and she's trying to throw the boiling water on the cop. I only saw the one body cam video. I didn't see both. There was two cops there. I saw the one on the right.
Yeah.
I didn't see the one on the left. It was closer.
Right.
Right.
See what he saw.
Right.
Because he's the one that did the shooting.
Right.
Yeah. I
Right.
should look at that. I'd like to.
Right. But again, he backed way the fuck up.
Right.
Okay. I mean, okay, think about this for a minute, guys. Was this the smartest course of action? Okay. You come in, the lady calls. She's I don't know this for sure, but she's probably a repeat caller. This has probably been called before because she's got some problem. Okay.
Oh yeah, she hears noises. I think that's why she called. She heard noises.
Right, she heard
out back or
noises.
something.
So so they come with this attitude and they're like, we've already looked around all over the freaking place, da 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 da. And they walk into her home, right? I mean, at this point, if she goes, you know what, I don't like you in my house. I didn't invite you in.
Right.
And they're like, well, you called us. But like, I don't want you in here. Get out. I'm going to throw boiling water on you. They'd be like, okay, fine. We'll get outside.
Right.
You should de-escalate the goddamn thing.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm going to treat hot, furiously boiling water, which you're fucking like, one guy's 8 feet away, the other guy's backed up. He's like probably a dozen to 15 feet away. She could have thrown it, okay? Yeah. But why didn't he just go, okay, all right, we'll go, it's okay, it's cool. Are you okay?
Well, I don't think she was trying to get them to go. I mean, she was
but maybe they should have. Well, okay,
yeah.
but he says if she was going to go throw the water on them, okay, she was threatening with the water. I'm just taking that to the extreme.
I wonder why.
And saying, okay, she was hostile with a pot of water, boiling water, right? Within 1.5 feet of you? No, you were like 8 feet away, 9 feet away.
Right.
Okay. And maybe, I don't know, was this throwing, I'm going to throw it on you after the guns were drawn on her? Because, see, then you've placed her in a position where maybe she would not normally have done that. Right? But you elevated the situation to a point. She's like, nah, you freaking me out. I'm going to throw water on you. I don't know how it went down.
They shouldn't have allowed her to go over to the stove. They should have just said, while we're talking to you, stay
somebody said they
here.
probably should have never even went in the goddamn home.
Right.
Like, why?
Right. Well,
and then they're asking her about her driver's license.
Her ID.
What the hell are they asking for ID when it's her home? Like, she called them.
Right.
Right? It's not, somebody. I don't think somebody called on her. I think she called them.
She called because she heard noise, and they looked around, and they said, didn't find anything.
Right.
And she seemed perfectly fine with
that.
that.
I mean, if a cop came and I called a cop, and they came here and they looked around and said, look, we didn't see nothing. And they'd be like, can I see your driver's license? I'd be like, no. But thank you. Have a nice evening. I appreciate you coming out. I'm not showing you my fucking driver's license. Nah, goodbye. Just one principle. You don't need to see it. I live here. Go away now. You know my address. You know my fucking name. I already told you my name is Tim. Go away. Right? So, yeah, he was totally in shoot first, ask questions later mode. And again, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he was charged. Did he get convicted? Right? Yeah, calling the police generally. Yeah. I don't do that much. Nope. I agree. Let's move on.
As an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, we had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So, can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
Well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine an innocent mistake?
You go after somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And they have, the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less than a second to make a, life and death decision.
I appreciate that he went into it with this, and this is like, I at this point, I don't think he said that, he defended his immunity argument from the best that he could. Mm-hmm. But I think at this point, he sees the possible potential flaw because he's admitted that, wow, I guess there needs to be some evaluation in this case, but it's a difficult thing, and we need to maybe look at that more deeply. But what other candidate would actually evolve like right there on the spot? But yet they treat him so poorly and they don't give him credit for anything. Right? I mean, in my opinion, he's doing a relatively humble answering of this question.
And sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. You know, I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult case. And I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time.
That's right.
And he had 50 years worth of documents, and they ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent, and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
They released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to
I didn't
different
notice you
topics.
do any publicity on it at all.
Slopodopoulos.
I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent.
this okay?
I have another one where I
Sir,
have
if you
a
don't mind, I'd
hostile
love
judge.
to. We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different
No,
topics.
excuse
if
you.
we
You're the
can.
one that held me up at 35 minutes, just so you understand.
Yeah.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to
Well,
get back
it's
to
the
the
truth,
campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says
It
are the
is
choices
cultural
people are making
appropriation,
to not
Jeff.
have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this.
This is the
He is very
weird
family
thing.
oriented.
You know, and I think it's great, man. He goes, he's very family oriented. I think the only thing that I wish Donald Trump would have said is, look, there are people that are childless by circumstance. There are people that get married because that's what they want to do. And then of the subset of the childless people, there does seem to be a group of miserable people in the world, right? And he doesn't do that. But he didn't take the third step. But he did pretty good, I think.
And he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with
everybody
very
knows
troubled
there
families.
are cat
And I
ladies.
also know people with no families. They didn't meet
Maggie
the right person.
Haberman.
Things happen. You go
a
through
cat
life,
lady.
you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking
Excuse
about
me.
families here.
And
He also
some of
says that
those
people that don't have children should get less votes than
That's
those
all
that
right.
do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
that your
and I
campaign
think I'm
position?
speaking for him too. He strongly believes in family, but I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just one last point and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now you have illegal aliens coming into our country, many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally.
People
Now,
who are only
this was a perfect pivot. Instead of getting hunkered down in this question and going, you know, I mean, all he's trying to do is say we should make policies that incent marriage, children, family, because it's a good thing. But they don't want to acknowledge that that's a good thing, right? But instead of doing that, he just pivots to the whole thing, which is it was a beautiful pivot. Pivots to the immigration.
From all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happening. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs to people that have come into this country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race
It
right now?
is,
Because I felt like that vice president
It's
question,
true.
Candidate question was right in there
morning,
with that.
Denise.
So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing, too. I know everybody out there can, but it's hard to hear.
I'll tell you why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room. But you have many of those people, they were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy. Without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well-connected, he got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and the father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the law journal. I mean, that's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction for 4 years, got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in business, actually, did public offerings and other things. And I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book. And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family. But he had he's made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator. And so, Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. We'd been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And 2 days after that,
I cannot understand your microphone.
I know
is so
it is
muffled.
really hard for me to
mean, it's
understand
just
you too.
I can understand you perfectly.
Because she's
Whoa.
closer.
I can understand you,
I'm happy to hear that, sir.
but I can't
Really happy to hear
understand
that.
Harris
I have a few more questions.
because of the distance.
That was hilarious, man. He looks at that woman in the middle and he goes, you, yeah, I can hear you just fine, man. It's no problem. As a matter of fact, I can hear you a little too good. That's hilarious, man.
And the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand
Are you asking a question?
what you're saying.
So what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would bring. You choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris, and that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice.
That's
When
pretty
you look
freaky.
at J.D. Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him, and for the other candidates too.
Oh, he's
But I will
total
say
alpha.
this: and I think this is well documented, historically, the vice president
Women
in terms
never
of the
learn.
election does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You
Women
have 2 or 3
women
days-
never learn. When a woman goes alpha, she's a bitch.
Yep.
She's a bitch.
Yep.
She'll always be a bitch. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Yep. And a guy will be
woman
an asshole.
trying to act like a man is gonna come off like a bitch. Always. Only a man can be a man. Only a man can stroll onto a stage like that, okay? And instead of being subservient to the person that started interviewing them, instead of bowing down, man, no, he just totally, completely flipped the tables from like the very first minute he opened his mouth. And those people have been off balance ever since. It's great. He's amazing. But it's just who he is.
Days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons of what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way, and I think JD is. I think that all of them would have been, but you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
JD Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, my point
but at
is
least
here.
it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is,
See?
So I got
I
got a woman who's interested in. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind.
Total judo flip, man. Total judo flip. Okay, she's like, JD Vance, personally, he offended me because, I'm childish, and I have 3 cats, and I'm upset about that. Okay, and he just
Denise, good morning.
he just judo flipped her, man. About not being nice. He's a total bitch.
Them would have been, but you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
JD Vance?
I bet
I'm
you
going to
will.
get my J.D. Vance question in.
Pry that bitch
to your
in there.
point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, my
But
point
at
is
least
here.
it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is,
See? Everybody
do you
laughed.
think the party,
Funny.
the Republican Party, is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
All right, now let me personally to a full stop just on that question alone. Judgy about the way we're supposed to be living our lives? Wait a minute. I gotta fucking recycle everything all the time? I have to fucking care about black people? I have to all the time? So much that I need to support them and go to their businesses and do all these things, and I need to be an advocate for them. I need to, as a matter of fact, feel guilty that I have the fucking privilege, right? What the hell are we talking about here, man? These people are like living on another freaking planet.
It's hot.
Judgy. The Democrats are the most judgy people like ever. Mm-hmm. You should care about the planet. You should care about the global warming. You should do this. You should do that. This is the way you should live your life.
Should.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. And by the way, you shouldn't be drinking those big old sodas. We're going to start limiting those. You can't get a big gulp,
Apparently, they don't care about obesity anymore. Remember, they were like the nanny state, and they were trying to
They were
clamp down on it. I don't know. I think they gave up.
right, but then we're judgy. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and we're weird.
Yep.
We're Abby something. Right? These people are nuts.
I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the
But
death.
I think it's
they're
about
allowing
freedom,
the
right?
death of a baby after the baby is born, based on
Sir,
the
that
governor
is
of
illegal
Virginia.
in every state in the country.
Based on the governor of Virginia,
Executing a
they're
baby in
allowing the
every
death
state
of
in
the
the country
baby
is illegal.
after it's born.
It's
They're
a
allowing
crime.
abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well,
of
Democrats
pregnancy.
have denied-
I think they're right, and I think the Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps, but the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservative, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it, everybody
But the
wanted
majority
it
of
back.
Americans oppose
Excuse me.
Roe v. Wade being
Whoa.
overturned.
They
Multiple
don't know
polls have
about
showed that.
this. Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing, out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting. And it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote
just a
on.
booger on
And
it.
they're voting. And many states have.
Oh no. Oh no.
What?
Oh no.
And the hashtag is NABJ fact
I don't know
check.
where the hell
Side
we
of
were.
this room are going to be losing their jobs. The people that have come voting for the president.
What's
You're
a
voting
black
for
job?
me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like, I don't think. Look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're
Yeah.
radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the
But I
death.
think it's
They're
about
allowing
freedom,
the death
right?
of a baby after the baby is born, based on.
Sir,
See,
that's,
this was-
that is
Governor
this was
illegal
a
in every
brilliant
state in the
pivot.
country.
Based on the governor of Virginia,
Executing a
they're
baby in
allowing the
every
death
state
of
in
the
the country
baby
is illegal.
after it's born.
It's
They're
a
allowing
crime.
abortion.
Did you know that there are more abortions since Roe v. Wade ended, or the Dobbs decision, than apparently? But I mean, it's not, I guess, radically. But I mean, it's not like.
Well, I
it's
think
not
the
like-
abortion pill has been a game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, as a woman, one's a physical procedure versus a pill.
I don't think it's a great thing. I think it's really. I think once you create
I
a
don't think
little
it's good.
little soul,
Yeah,
the next day just to go, oh well, let's just snuff it. You know, it doesn't really matter how
awful.
big it is. I mean, well, ultimately, but I mean, if I had to deal with it and I had to give up something, and I go the pill, you can use the pill, like up to like so. Yeah, but that's
But the
it.
problem is that they're making something that is so bad easy.
Right.
And that's what the deal with the pill.
Right.
I mean, like, I guess if there's a person that's been raped and they go in the hospital and as part of the rape kit, they get tested, they get da-da-da-da-da. They
Well,
get
that's
these
but that's
AIDS
every,
tests,
the rape,
and they
incest,
get the
all
pill
that
in
stuff.
case-
It's like, and he goes to talk about that. It's like everybody agrees on that. Nobody really significantly. There's nobody really. There might be a couple of people on the fringes, but nobody disagrees that you should be able to say, all right, you know, here's the pill. Fine. You don't want to carry this baby. It's your uncle. He raped you. You don't want to have your uncle's baby. I get it. You know.
You're so compassionate,
Or your sister,
honey.
or your sister rapes you.
Sister rapers.
Yeah, sister rapers. You know, man. You know, you would not want to have your sister's baby,
Definitely not.
right? So that's understandable
That's
too.
just weird.
Right. As a matter of fact, if you had your sister's baby, shit, I'd be like, you could kill it all the way up until it was 1 year old. I mean, hell.
And you wouldn't have to babysit.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, I don't know. This whole idea of when can you kill a baby, well, whether it's inside or outside, what's the difference? I mean, why don't you just say, you know, this isn't working out good at 1 year old? And you just go, well, kid, we were going to have a birthday party for you, but it's not working out. But I mean, seriously, it's like, if it's, I mean, it's just the whole logic thing, okay? It's like, okay, it's inside the vagina, it's inside the birth canal, it's still in the uterus. 2 minutes before it came out. Is it not a baby inside? It's just a baby outside? Well, no, it's a baby inside. Okay, we can agree on that. All right, so let's back it up 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Well, if you would have had that baby 3 weeks earlier, it would have been 8.5 pounds instead of 8 and 9 pounds. It would have been just perfectly as healthy. It would have been just as much a baby, right? Right. So you start going backward, and all of a sudden we go, well, it's not a baby there. Oh, isn't it?
Right.
Why? Why? Because it doesn't look like one anymore? You know, it's like, no, everybody knows that when this goes into this, when we see the microscope, when we figured it out, you got the egg, I got the sperm, okay? When those two things come together,
You're so romantic, honey.
when they get together, they make a baby, okay?
Okay.
Everybody knows this,
All right.
okay? Even in New York, everybody knows this, right? Since we was little kids, okay? Since we went to junior high, we all knew this.
In the 8th and 9th month.
Well,
of
Democrats
pregnancy.
have denied
I think they're right. And I
that's
think
the
the
thing.
Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps. But the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats,
It's where it should be.
Republicans,
It's where it
liberals,
should be.
conservative. Everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it. Everybody
But the
wanted
majority
it
of
back.
Americans oppose
Excuse
Roe
me.
v. Wade being
They
overturned.
don't
Multiple
know
polls have
about
showed that,
this.
sir.
Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe
You
in
know,
the 3 exceptions.
I wish I could just do that. Like, you know, creamy Jean Pierre gets up every day in that press briefing.
Yep.
And like she did it the other day with the Supreme Court reform. Mm-hmm. She looks like dead in the camera, man, or looks at the reporter and goes, a majority, and she pounds the table while she does it because that's, you know, she's lying, okay? A majority of Americans believe that the Supreme Court needs to be reformed. Okay? It's like, really?
Right.
How do you know? Where's your surveys? Where's your paperwork? Where's your proof? No, that's your just bullshit, raw assertion of a fact that I don't believe is true.
Right.
And you got nothing. You got nothing to back it up whatsoever. But yet that's what these Democrats do. They just say, well, a majority of Americans want this. So, you know, they're pathetic.
Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing, out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people.
Oh, and like the other thing too is that since 1960-something, the left has been successfully using lawfare, but lawfare from the standpoint of creating law through creating precedent law through a little bit at a time, pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing until they finally get what they want, right? Mm-hmm. They ban prayer from schools. They do this. They do that. They keep advancing this progressive agenda. But boy, now all of a sudden, they done lost a couple of decisions. Well, they were just real happy with that legal shit before, but then all of a sudden they get a few decisions they don't like, and they're like, whoa, we don't like this law stuff anymore. These courts are bad. They're wrong. Now, they've been serving them perfectly well for since the civil rights movement. They've been suing the piss out of everybody and their brothers, right? But all of a sudden they get one go to the Supreme Court, maybe 2-3 of them, and they lose, and all of a sudden they're all up they got their panties all up in a bunch, right?
People. But the people are now voting, and it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on. And they're voting. And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting. And it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Most people believe in the 3 exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do? We execute the baby.
Now, what's really interesting is I don't even remember what the original question was anymore.
Oh.
But he's talking about abortion. And they don't like it because he's making a lot of sense about things and he's
Right.
got a platform.
Yep.
And he's also eating up the clock with talking about what he wants to talk about. So right now, he's just like getting punches in, just punching, swinging, swinging, swinging.
That's a radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quickly to another question about, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man.
By the way, the other thing that's really cool is that he's not afraid to use his deeper, manly voice that God gave him to just talk and barrel right over the top of these really bitchy, nasty women, right? He just goes and talks kind of right over the top of them until he's done talking. And then what it forces them to do is they have to kind of raise their voice, and then they start sounding bitchy and naggy because they're interrupting. And then he's got absolutely no problem going, excuse me, you asked me a question.
Right.
And
Am I here to
somehow,
answer questions?
somehow he has this ability. This is why he's going to be able to beat Kamala.
Just judo.
A lot of people might not be able to handle the woman thing because the woman knows how to do the judo thing. He handles the women so alpha, so correctly, so patriarchally,
Yep.
right? That they just, there is, because of biology, that they all deny. They all deny. No. Men are exactly the same. Women are exactly the same as men. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. And you be the first one to show us, here, put the chair up against the wall, put your head up against the wall, now lift the chair. You can't stand up. You're a man. Right? But then when it comes to shit like this, you don't want to acknowledge the fact. Right? But he is able somehow to go, excuse me, and make her look like the shrill one instead of looking like he's beating up on the woman. There's an art to that. It takes a real man to be able to do that.
We see you golfing all the time, but if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not
Would you-
mentally. Look, mentally.
Here's the question.
He's shot. But most people.
Would you consider?
Most people. I know many people in their
Yeah.
80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world.
Do you believe they pulled the age card on him now?
Yeah.
You believe that? So now he's just going to have to grab him by the neck, by the head, and go again, right? These people it's too easy. It's just too easy for him.
World history, the greatest leaders, some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated
Oh my
me,
goodness.
Dear Harris.
and I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a nasty, that wasn't a question. She
Sir,
didn't
you
ask
can
me a
answer the
question.
question.
She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated
You
your
can answer
statement,
the
sir,
question.
actually.
You said you would. You would
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If
to
I
step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them and I aced them.
Well, can
got
I
them.
just-
I took 2 of them. But let me ask you.
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or
pure
85.
Trump.
I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say
Concentrated.
it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have the millions of people falling in.
The only thing I think it was a missed opportunity was for Trump to have said, you know what, why don't we take a test of the President of the United States? He's non-compos mentis to stand trial for the documents case. He's non-compos mentis to be able to, not in control of the mints, right? Lost his mints, done lost all of them. Yeah, how is he capable of being El Presidente, right? Shouldn't we be asking this question?
Yeah.
Right. So I think that was a missed opportunity, but that's okay. That's all right. It wasn't anything bad he did. He just missed an opportunity.
We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
There you go. Take it to
what
the
he has
Afghanistan.
done to our
That was
country
good to
and
talk
her
about.
too.
Yeah.
What they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Mr.
Don't mean to
President.
interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test?
Mr. President.
I would love to
And
do
make
it.
it public.
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr.
I
President,
suggested,
how do you intend to...
I suggested, Harris, that let's
Now
take
listen
one.
to this. Now listen to this. Okay, they're getting him about taking a cognitive test. Nobody's talking about the current sitting president of the United States, which is in and of itself, we should all be going, oh, what? What? Are we living in fucking upside down bizarro world right now? What the fuck is going on, right?
Right.
So, but watch this. Watch this judo move.
I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her, too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Mr. President.
Are you saying she wouldn't pass? Just to be clear,
She didn't pass the bar.
to be clear, you don't think.
How do you intend...
She didn't pass her bar exam, and she didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to ever pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it.
She did pass it.
There's a man over here.
She did, in fact, pass it.
Must.
Mr. President, I would love to ask you about January 6th. You've called yourself the candidate of law and order.
Okay, here we go.
When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely.
Sure.
You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones. At least one officer lost an eye. One had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs. Another had a stroke. Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Well,
Okay, now, hard question, right? Hard question. Curious to see what you think how he did with this one. I thought this one was pretty good.
let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol, a horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting.
Let's talk about, I don't know, current history from 5 fucking days ago about violence in the Capitol.
Violence.
Right? Totally. Everybody's running around. It was like a giant orchestra showed up in Union Station. And we got spray paint all over everything. Yeah, and it's in sandstone, too. You can't get that shit out of there. It's always going to have a pink haze and a hue, and we're going to have to look at that nonsense forever. This is, it's great. I think he used this to his advantage. I think this is a masterclass on how to go into hostile territory and take complete control.
Protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. You'll see it in 100 years from now. They viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that destroyed that city?
But sir, my question is on those.
What's going to happen to the people that tried to
My question is on those
bring
rioters
that?
who assaulted
Excuse me.
officers.
You have to
would you pardon
What's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You
If
would
they're
pardon
innocent,
those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just
They're convicted by a certain group of people that are also the same ones that are persecuting me. So you douchebag, lady, person, pantsuit wearing, straight hair, ironing.
Oh my God.
Hua.
Convicted by a very tough system. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis, how come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle, How come nothing happened to them? How come the
But,
people
sir, we're
that...
talking about
how
people
come
that
the
were
people-
seen
no,
beating
no.
officers
We're talking
with-
about...
Yeah, it's like, no. Oh, yeah, we want to talk about January 6th, but we don't want to talk about Chaz Chop. We don't want to talk about a kid getting murdered in Chaz Chop. We don't want to talk about Jay Daniels getting gunned down in Portland while we watched, okay? After, I think it was after Proud Boys were downtown, and he was a Patriot Prayer guy. That's all he was. He was just walking downtown, and they ambushed him and killed him.
Yeah.
Right? Right? Or what about Kenosha? They fucking burned Kenosha down, right? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. No, we need to talk about all of that stuff. It's not just violent. The right was violent one time and was goaded into it and was, in many ways, entrapped into it by the United States government. And when you talk about a mob like that, when you talk about that many fucking people, if any cops did anything to alter any point, like the Ray Epps thing, and he triggered it by whispering in the guy's ear and says, take the barriers down. Do it.
Right.
Do it, son. And he does it. Then that's like a ripple effect. That's like a set of dominoes. Okay? That guy should be swinging. That one man. Because you take it back to where did this all fucking start? It started because of that guy going, we need to go into the Capitol. And they're all going, Fed.
Right.
And he was a fucking Fed.
Yep.
Okay?
Sure was.
Because of that, everything else followed was entrapment. Because it's a fucking group of people. Then one person affected the person next to them, affected the person next to them. It was like a whole bunch of pool balls. Okay? And so it's bullshit. And we have to say, all right, you are always pointing to that one damn thing where we said peacefully go march and protest down by the Capitol. And we had all these permits and all that shit to do so. And then the feds got involved and they fucking triggered it. They got it to go off. And they put no fencing up. They didn't do anything that they should have done. Yup, Ray Epps, son of a bitch. So now let's talk about some other things. Because you're going to paint the right as exclusively violent. We're going to forget about the entire year of 2020. $20 billion. billion in damage. In looting, fires, destruction. Not to mention all the store closings. Neighborhoods don't have stuff anymore. They don't have things anymore.
Flagpoles, dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that video, sir?
Oh, really? Well,
you would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle. Nobody died, but people died in Minneapolis.
No
you know, people died in Minneapolis.
That day.
And nothing happens, and nobody ever talks, and nothing happens to those people. But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in. What about that? Look, nothing is perfect in life. But you have people
Charlie,
from
how are you?
Minneapolis. You have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C. They were having fistfights and fighting with the police.
Yeah.
They were spraying and destroying. They were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And you can't have two systems of justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent, because they felt they couldn't win without doing that. And we're going to win our cases, and we're going to be vindicated. But I have to spend a lot of time on that and money. That's what they want. After the election, they won't care. Although in my case, I think they probably will, because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before, and it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
What do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border. And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming in. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. We want people. I want people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down. I bring inflation way down, so people can buy bacon again, so people can buy a ham sandwich again, so that people can go to a restaurant and afford it. because right now people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%, right? She's agreeing to me. Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much.
Mr. President, I think we are.
But it's true. Your grocery bills are up. And then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. You know, Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. But I'm against everybody having an electric car. Okay, I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline-propelled car. But, you know, we have more liquid gold, gasoline, oil, under our feet than any other country. More than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs, and I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your jobs.
Project
Mr. President,
2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So leave it. That is the last word. Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much. Great
Thank
honor.
you, Mr. President.
Okay, good. I'm looking forward to it. All right, thank you. Bye. Charlie's coming over this afternoon.
This
between 2 and 3.
afternoon?
Stop.
Why?
Stop. Because I told her, I said, okay, I'm going to be quite honest with you right now. I mean, the reason I put you off the other day is because my place is a shithole right now. I said, but that's why I'm trying to get out of here because it doesn't fit me anymore. Life isn't right out here, and I can't keep up with it. It's all overgrown me. Right? So she's going to come between 2 and 3.
By
and,
herself?
It'll be fine. Yeah, she's going to be by herself. And I'll clean up a couple of things before she gets here, any of the most embarrassing things. And don't worry about it because
Okay.
I'm tired of being emotional about any of this. We need to get out of here. We just need to leave. So, okay. Oh,
Hi.
sorry. Oh, is it over?
It's over.
It overed? It ended. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a realtor. That was a local realtor that I put off the other day because my house is a shithole. And then I told her that's why I put her off. And I said, but now, I got some feelers out and told her about that. And I said, I need to know kind of what you think about it and what the market value is and what I need to do and what I don't need to do and, all that kind of stuff. And
You're going to tell her that we just put out some feelers on Facebook?
I did already.
Oh.
Yeah, I did already before she came. So I said, okay, number one, like I said, and so at this point, I mean, I've been honest with everybody else in my life. I'm never going to know this lady again once I leave here. I mean, I don't give a shit, and it's like, look, I'm tired of having my, it's like, okay, yeah, right, okay, the place is overgrown. The place has garbage around. Yeah, there's even a couple of bags of beer cans around. Oh, okay, because, yeah, I don't have a garbage service out here, and I just don't take them to the trash often. So it's like, yeah, whatever, Not too worried about it. I was, but then I'm starting to pop. I'm going, I just can't, deal with it anymore. So what did you guys think about this whole Trump thing? I thought it was a hell of an interview. I thought he did really, really good. Don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Stick with me for like 5 minutes, and then she checks out at the end. It just toward the end of the show, it's 2 hours is a little too much for her attention span.
Yeah.
And it happens.
Sorry.
So, oh yeah, they tried to bring up that Project 2025 thing that they want to hang around his neck. It's just absolutely he walked into two wolves. And, even Harris was a little bit like kind of a little down on the whole J.D. Vance thing. Wasn't in my opinion enough of didn't look at him in a realistic of a light. It's just like they're trying to paint him as being the odd, weird one. Like we saw that meme, we got the two trannies and the assistant, what is it? She the admiral, whatever, the health, what the fuck is she? The ridiculous tranny. What's her title?
Rachel Levine.
Rachel Levine. Yeah, it's like, yeah, well, but we're the weird,
Secretary,
right? There's a man in a dress, and we're just supposed to, running the country. Not to mention the guy that was running around in fashion designer clothes and bright red lipstick with a shaved head that looked like Matt Damon in a dress. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Remember, Matt Damon actually came out and said that's not me. I think he did. Because it looked so much like Matt Damon.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, just the fruitcake nuttiness is just over the top. So let me go big full screen for a minute. But, yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool interview. And he went right into the heart. And he's working really hard at trying to get the black vote. And I think he's making a lot of effort to do that. And I think he's doing a pretty good job with it, as well as can be expected. I think he could have done a couple of things better, but, hey, Kamala didn't even show, dude.
Right.
And I don't think that people are going to accept that Kamala Harris really is black. There's already blacks that don't like Kamala, right? There's a
They
big
had a
group.
Zoom call yesterday that Dom
Yeah.
Luker set up, and they expected 30,000 people. It was going to be this big, huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
70,000 people on a Zoom call.
No shit.
Blacks against Harris.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
70,000. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
Blacks not supporting Kamala.
Coming up. Okay, we got to go. We got stuff to do.
We do?
We have Realtor coming over.
Yeah, I guess so. Between 2 and 3. I guess I better do some things. But I just enjoy them so much I never want to leave. All right. Well, I'll wrap it up then. So I hope you enjoyed all that masterclass. And if you like this
he's so good.
if you like this content, like and subscribe and share and bookmark and like and bookmark.
Yeah, the bookmarks are really.
Yeah, the bookmark's important, at least for like a week or whatever, to keep the boost up. I get pretty good traffic, I think, on the original content now, so we're pretty happy about that. But if you'd like to contribute to us in other ways, and we have great folks that support us, and I want to thank them so very much. And you know who you are. That are some of the people that support us in a big way, and we really do appreciate you.
We really do.
We always need more support. So if you can possibly support us financially, we got tip buttons. We got to buy us coffee under the link tree.
You
So
consider
you
it a tithe.
can, you can consider it a
Seriously.
tithe. We are a Christian mission here, and so so we would appreciate if you could possibly do that. But just do whatever you can today in this day and age with all this mess going on.
Yep.
To make sure that you just are engaged in the fight, right? If you are, the Realtor is going to be a good time, man. I'm telling you, the place is just it's all grown up, man, and it's just kind of like, but, I got the pictures, which we've already put up, the pictures of at one time, it was beautiful in various ways, and we're overwhelmed, and, but I'll know, and maybe she'll go, yeah, you got to get the grass cut, or you got to go do this, or whatever. And she might figure out some guy that's going to come over here and cut the damn thing for $100, and she'll say, whatever, you can take it out of the house when it's done, or whatever. He'll come and cut it for free. Who knows? So, it's just that whole thing where it's just like you got to just go, you know what? I'm just going to go. I don't care about how you feel about what kind of human being I am. There's none of that going on here. I don't really care what you think. Then it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So I will have fun with the Realtor. So she's going to hate it, right? So, look, I'm just going to make sure there's no piles of dog poop laying around.
Oh, my God.
And we're not tripping over beer cans when you walk in the front door.
Oh, boy.
And the kitchen counters will be clean. And the floor will be swept. Right? I think I can manage that in like 4 or 5 hours. And I'll put the sheet on and make the bed, right?
Okay.
I think we'll be good.
So we don't look like crack hose.
We don't look like crack hose. There you go. There you are. All right. Well, on that note, I'm True
That's a
Slinger.
very bad margin.
And that's the crack hoe over there.
Hey!
Hippie chick. We out of here. Bye-bye.
Bye.